pook me a flag, gonna pook me a flag, gonna pook me a flag. Hey ho, gonna pook me a flag, gonna pook me a flag, gonna pook it.
Oh, look, we're approaching Speed Barge at last. Thank goodness.
That's a fine boat you got there, Dongle. It got the Pook there and back again. And I've got your special package for you.
Oh, thank you so much, Pook. You truly have no idea how much all this means to me. Here's your pay. And let me buy you a drink at the bar. I mean, it's the least I can do for all that you've done for me.
The Pook's just glad to help out a fellow gnome with a bit of a night elf problem.
Oh, it's more than just the shipment from New Thalinar that I'm grateful for. You truly have no idea how honored I was to have the creator of the Princess Ara series deliver my doujinshis. Oh, my subscribers must have been thrilled to meet none other than the Pook herself.
Yeah, they were speechless.
Come, Pook, come. Your silver is no good at the bar tonight. The drinks are on the dongle. Drink up, Pook. We're celebrating. In fact, everybody drink up. Daisy, a round of drinks for the bar. Old Dongle wants to propose a toast to none other than the star of the night, Pookamhura.
Oh, old gods, no.
Now, it's no secret to the gnomes and goblins of good taste here on Speed Barge that old Dongle has himself a bit of a side hustle going with my Dank Gearfister series. But today I was blessed to discover that Pookamhura, the sometimes stabby immortal, who we all know by reputation, is the one and same Pook that is the creator of the Princess Ara series. Oh my, you certainly were not exaggerating when you said your art would be well received by the normal leggities.
Yeah, I guess not, Kami.
I dare say that if it were not for the Princess Ara series, there never would have been a Dank Gearfister series. You see, over a year ago, I was just a broke bum on the streets of Stormwind, taking jobs as I could find them in the Dwarven District, when one day I looked down in the gutter and saw it. Why, it was nothing more than a scrap of paper, a single page of what was the masterwork that inspired me to follow my dream of moving to the Speed Barge and start publishing my own doujins. It was just a single page from Princess Ara and the Hand of Kultiris, but the sheer artistry contained on this scrap of paper was enough to inspire me to create Dank Gearfister. Oh, I just wish I had the money back then to actually be able to buy the doujinshi. I mean, I'll gladly buy one now if you have any for sale.
Yeah, well, I guess the Pook should have hammer spaced some before leaving Stormwind, but, well, you know.
Well, I can well imagine. I mean, it must be hard for you just to keep issues in stock in a big city like Stormwind.
Yeah, you know, supply chains. Yeah, there's some supplies, and then there's some chains involved, and, you know, a lot of business stuff like that.
Well, if you're ever by Speed Barge again, you've got a fan here ready to buy whatever you've got to sell. Yeah, well, before we all tie ourselves up in knots here, sucking the Pook's polished peg, people here might like to know that our little Miss Pookamhura is nothing but a low-down, no-good job-stealing scab.
What the fuck are you talking about, Nucleo?
I was supposed to be the one making Dongle's run. You stole my gig. You know damned well that you were fired with good reason. The job was no longer yours for the taking. Yes, besides, if I recall correctly, you came into the bar last afternoon to turn down the job on account of the Grim Totem attack on New Thalinar. You really think that I, Tommy Nucleo, am afraid of a little long-leggedy drama? The Grim Totems are pushovers. I came into the bar to negotiate a little hazard pay is all. A perfectly reasonable request, given the situation. You've got a lot of nerve coming in here and lying to my face, Nucleo. The job wasn't yours because I wasn't giving. Because I wasn't taking. Aha! Got you! That's it! Bar fight!
Look, guys, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna turn myself in now. It's been a long day, and the Pook is looking forward to sleeping in a real bed. Come on, Kami. The Pook is heading to the bedding.
Are you alright, Pook? You seem a little upset.
He's never even read my doujinshi, Kami. All he's ever seen of my work is a single page, which he found in the gutter. And he's my biggest fan, Kami. My biggest fan.
Well, your work certainly seems to have been an inspiration to him, and I'm sure his fans were thrilled to meet you.
His fans didn't even know who the Pook was, Kami. It was humiliating. Not one of them had ever heard of Princess Ara. I felt like an idiot, Kami. A complete fool.
Well, maybe the long-leggedies in Stormwind don't appreciate your work, but if only a single page from one of your Princess Ara doujinshis was enough to inspire another artist to follow their dreams, well, that must mean your work would be well received elsewhere. Like here, on Speed Barge, for example.
Nobody here even knows there's an artistic side of the Pook. They just know me as a gnome who's sort of immortal and sometimes stabs people when they need a stabbing.
Well, there are two people here who know there's an artistic side to the Pook. Dongle and myself.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make me feel like any less of a fraud and a failure, Kami.
I'm quite serious, Pook. A single page from one of your doujinshis was all it took to inspire another gnome's artistic career. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm quite jealous.
Kami!
I'm being genuine, Pook. I've only ever had one opportunity to really showcase my artistic talents, and it was a disaster that ended up with me becoming an orc's indentured servant. Not exactly a tale to inspire.
Well, you never know, Kami. Your rendition of Gilbert and Sullivan might have inspired somebody in Ratchet. I mean, how many people came to your show?
Including the orc and myself, too.
Yikes.
Yikes, indeed.
Oh, that felt so good, Kami. So good to sleep in a real bed. And I'll feel even better once I pay off that stupid fine and get my stabbers back.
Not so fast there, Pook. You and we got us some unfinished business here.
What do you want, Nucleo? The Pook has things she needs to be doing.
You stole my job, Pook, and I think that entitles me to your pay.
Well, I don't really care what you think. The Pook has no time for your goblin nonsense, Nucleo.
Oh, I know. You think you're a real badass on account of your curse of immortality. But that's just it, ain't it? Your immortality ain't the invincible kind, is it? No. Your immortality just means that without your stabbings, you ain't nothing. How long do you think it'll take you to run back here from the nearest naked lady? I'm betting you don't make it back to Speed Barge before I'm able to collect what's mine. And maybe I'll make a nice chicken sandwich out of your feathered friend here, too.
Oh, you do not want to be messing with the infamous pirate captain, Blackcraw McGillicuddy. Even if you do get lucky, and I mean really lucky, and you manage to take down the Pook, I can guarantee you that Captain Blackcraw will have finished you off before the Pook even sees the naked lady.
Oh, he ain't no pirate. Who's ever heard of a pirate captain what ain't got no ship? And I happen to know that your Boyd ain't got no boat.
Well, There's a perfectly good reason why Blackcraw doesn't have a ship.
Oh, there is now. Well, I'd love to hear it.
Well, you're gonna hear it. Tell him, Captain.
What? Oh, a ship. Where me ship be? Well, there's a perfectly logical explanation for that. You see, I be Blackcraw McGillicuddy, leader of the Blackcraw Mutineers. I don't be having a single ship under me command. No, sir. Blackcraw McGillicuddy commands a whole fleet of ships. You command an entire fleet.
Yeah, an entire fleet. Ain't that right, Captain?
You see, I adventure across the seas of Azeroth, looking for ships with miserable crews, crews being mistreated by their captains, and I inspire these crews to rise up and mutiny against their tyrants, and these liberated crews, well, they swear fealty to me, the dread pirate Blackcraw, and thus I have a fleet sworn to come to me aid when I need them. Oh, really? And I suppose I'm the only one here to notice that your pirate voice ain't always a pirate voice. The other night in the bar, you didn't sound so piratey then. Well, there's an obvious reason for that. Well, I'm listening. Well, Pook, you're my first mate. Why don't you tell him the reason?
Sure thing, Captain. You see, Captain Blackcraw, has a medical condition.
Medical condition?
Yeah. When the captain gets drunk, he has a speech impediment. It makes his hoities get all toidied, and it causes him to speak with a Canadian dainty.
This is all starting to sound very made up and very stupid. So what's it gonna be, Pook? Do you give me what's mine, or do I just help myself to it after I sends you to the naked lady?
They only confiscated the Pook stabber's Nucleo. The Pook's still packing her pistol. So, if we're done here, the captain and I have an appointment with the big bosses to get the Pook stabbers back. Come on, Captain. I think Tommy is enjoying a moment of clarity right now, and daylight's burning. Fix me up with a beer, Daisy. The Pook is celebrating. I paid off my fines for getting drunk and political, and I've gotten my stabbers back. And what's more, I've got an announcement to make.
Oh, an announcement? Oh, what is it, Pook?
There's gonna be some changes coming to the speed barge.
What sort of changes?
Well, I went to see the bosses to pay off my fine, right? So I give them the money, right? And then Fizzle, he's about to hand me my stabbers back, but then Pazik, he says, wait a minute, you're short. You still owe us for the second day's rental on the work tent. And so I say, what are you talking about? The Pook only rented the tent for one night. I slept in the inn last night. And then Pazik says, well, you have to pay for the second night's rent because rent cancellation requires a week's notice. And then Fizzle, he says, yeah, I'm sorry, Pook, but those are the rules. I can't give you stabbers back until you pay off your debt in full. So then I'm like, really? Well, why is it that the two of you can't agree upon anything except squeezing the Pook for money? And then Fizzle, he says, that is a gross exaggeration. Pazik and I might not agree on everything, but there is one thing we both agreed upon. And so I said, yeah, well, what is that? Tell me, what is that? And Pazik, he says, well, the one thing we could both agree upon was a good idea, that neither one of us alone should have the means to destroy the speed barge. And I was like, why would you want to destroy the speed barge? And Fizzle, he says, well, in the early days, whenever one of us didn't get our way, we'd threaten to blow up the speed barge sky high. So naturally, the best solution was to build a self-destruct mechanism into the speed barge that could only be detonated by both of us working together. There are two levers set apart from each other that must both be pulled at the exact same time in order to arm the self-destruct mechanism. So I say to them, you mean these two levers? Because I can totally pull both of them at the same time. And then Fizzle, right? He's like really pissed, and he blames Pazik for putting the self-destruct levers too close together. And Pazik, he's all like, do you have any idea at all how much money I was able to save by making the self-destruct console so small? The original design would have put the whole thing over budget. And then Fizzle is all like, typical goblin blah 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 money. And Pazik is all, typical gnome blah 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 not money. And the Pook was like, hey guys, hey, I'm holding both the levers. And if you don't give me my stabbers back, well, I'm immortal, and I have a diving helmet, so I'm sure I'll eventually find my stabbers somewhere in the sunken wreckage. And long story short, they gave the Pook her stabbers back.
You were gonna blow the speed barge to smithereens just to get your swords back?
Well, obviously, Pazik and Fizzle didn't want to find out if the Pook was bluffing. And not only did I get my stabbers back, but I also got them to take action on the issue that caused the Pook to get into trouble in the first place.
Do you mean to say that they're finally going to do something to make Speed Barge a place that accommodates both those whose leggities are long and those whose leggities are normal? The normal leggities better not be the ones getting the hydraulics here.
Pazik and Fizzle have agreed to commission a double Blue Star Special Action Committee to look into exploring options to address the problem with the scale of furnishings on the speed barge.
A special action committee in double Blue Star. Why, that's twice as many stars as a single Blue Star Special Action Committee. Well, with a committee of goblins and gnomes working together, I'm sure we'll have this issue solved in no time whatsoever.
Also, there's a self-destruct mechanism on Speed Barge that pretty much anybody can detonate, and yeah, that can't be good. Yeah, you guys should really do something about that, because that is not safe at all. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Ready to sail when you are, Pook.
Thanks for offering Black Craw and me passage the rest of the way across the Thousand Needles.
It's my pleasure. I only wish that we had enough time to work on that Dank Gearfister and Princess Ara crossover.
Well, next time I'm on Speed Barge, we can work on that Princess Ara and Dank Gearfister crossover.
Just imagine it. Dank Gearfister and Princess Ara in the same doujinshi.
You mean Princess Ara and Dank Gearfister?
Well, that's what I said.
Oh, it really is not.
Is that a shock?
There are no sharks on the Thousand Needles!
Another drink, Daisy. I'm celebrating the Pook's departure.
You, Goblin, you have information on the whereabouts of the immortal known as Pookamhura.
That entirely depends. What's this information worth to you?
It is worth your life, Goblin.
Whoa there, big guy. Weapons are strongly discouraged in the bar here on Speed Barge.
You are armed.
These are just my work tools.
Then you can use those tools to build yourself a casket, which is what you will need if you don't tell me where I can find the immortal known as Pookamhura.
Fine, you win. I've gotten caught up in enough of that gnome's bullshit already. You're too late, Long-Leggedy. Dongle took her across the Thousand Needles hours ago. She's probably well on her way to Gadget Sand by now.
Then Gadget Sand is where the Pook will die.
Yeah? Well, good luck with that, buddy. I have a cousin in Gadget Sand who killed the Pook once, and it did not go well for him.
I am no man's cousin.